Hello everyone and welcome back. So I got sent a pretty good replay a little while ago and I haven't looked at it yet really until now. But I want to put it up because I've been playing too much myself recently and I've kind of been a little sick. But getting over that and want to jump back into this with a guest commentary. This is actually a really good battle from a fairly unique setup too. So let's take a look. Over here we have one of my viewers named Yangleeo. He's going to be... It's hard to say exactly what his core is here. In fact, I might even call it a bow cavalry core because he has 3 bow cavalry here, and the rest of his army seems to sort of act as support for that. You could say it's a katana core, but he only has, let's see, 1, 2, 3 katana samurai, one of which is a rank 9, very scary, and a nodachi, which is rank 8, so those are both very scary. 2 yari samurai as well, a yari cavalry back here, 3 bow cavalry, like I said, off there, and then a wako raider up here near the shrine to try and take it out. And over here he's going to be fighting some melee spam. Quite a bit of melee units. There's 2 Naginata monks here. There are a ton of attendants, both sword and Naginata. And a couple, 4 loanswords. So classic kind of loansword infantry spam here. He also has 2 cavalry units that are hidden and will be hidden for a long time in this battle. So let's get this one going. So he has the Waka Raiders by the shrine, going to try and take that as soon as possible. Good strategy. The shrine is a great building. But since blue over here does not have any way to counter those bow cavalry, the archery dojo over here would actually be a very crucial building to get, and Yangleeo over here is going to recognize that and send his army that way once it seems like blue is going to send his whole force over to the shrine. So again, red has a huge skirmishing advantage in this battle. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's 1 light cavalry that blue has out right now. So that's the only thing that can threaten his bow cavalry. So getting into an engagement right away at the shrine would be a bad idea. He needs to push that skirmishing advantage as much as he can. In fact, what I might have done is just taken my whole army and just plopped all the infantry in my melee cavalry like at the top of a hill way over here on the side of the map and just skirmish the crap out of this guy as long as I can. Now, some people might think that's camping, and it sort of is in a way, but as long as you're being proactive in some way with your skirmishing, in this case, you're doing something proactive. The enemy can't stop you. That's his fault for not bringing a balanced army. That's the one flaw with these melee spam builds. Somebody who's skilled with bow cavalry can just tear you apart, especially if you're using lower quality ones like lone swords and Naginata monks, which have the low armor at least, so they can get torn apart. So red's going to try and keep his bow cavalry alive as long as possible. Good strategy. That's what's going to tip the battle in his favor. The light cavalry catches up to one of his bow cav, but he has a yari samurai here that's going to do a really good job of covering for his bow cavalry. So light cav is going to get scared off without doing any real damage. So red has a big advantage here. He can just push this skirmish advantage as long as he can and keep those bow cavalry alive for as long as possible and just tear into the enemy. Because the infantry advantage is quite a bit in favor of blue. With the 2 monks, a bunch of lone swords, and a ton of attendants, red is in danger of being swarmed and just completely surrounded. So red is going to be shooting into these Nagi monks. Already got him down to 60 men out of 80. This is a smaller unit size battle, so the maximum Naginata monk is 80. So he's already got him down to like 50 men. Really good action there. Those monks with their war cry are very deadly, so that'd be the first one I'd want to target. Especially now, I guess, because they are really powerful now. I don't know if they got nerfed exactly in the hotfix. I think they got nerfed a little bit, but they're still very powerful. So it's a good idea to take those guys out as soon as possible. Again, pushing a skirmish advantage. Going to actually wisely take some shots into light cavalry. Get that guy off the field as soon as possible so your bow cavalry can harass freely without having to worry about getting tied down. Except maybe by the general, but that could lead the enemy into getting making some serious mistakes if his general gets killed by bow cavalry. Or at least tied down enough by bow cavalry for a melee unit to come in and take him out. So again, pulling back, keeping his yari samurai up to scare off the light cavalry, and just keep going. But all this time, red has had his yari cavalry sneaking all the way around the back. That's going to end up being very useful. And blue has pulled out 2 Naginata monk cavalry from the forest. So complete melee spam by blue, no ranged options. So Yangleeo, red over here, is going to have a big skirmish advantage, and he still does. The archery dojo has been captured, so he has theoretically infinite number of missiles. As long as he can get back to the archery dojo and refill his ammo, he can just keep shooting into blue all day. So he's going to take his infantry line and put him in this pretty strong position right on the hill with this forest. Now, maybe in retrospect, putting putting your guys in a forest isn't the best spot because it'll be harder for his bows to shoot through the forest. I might have put him up a little farther so there's clear ground for his bows to shoot into. But still, it's a pretty good defense position. He has a nice downhill charge. He has a rank 8 Nodachi Samurai, which will be able to get a seriously powerful charge into blue if he comes up that hill. So if he's proactive on his defense and makes a counter charge, we can see some serious casualties taken by blue. Now blue's going to split his force up into 3 different parts. He has a center, a right over here, which is just attendants, and then a left side over here. He also has his cavalry way back. But he's going to kind of ignore this Yari cavalry. This is the great thing about ambushes. He's probably not even thinking about what's going on back here. That's going to give red an opportunity to just run right up the middle where blue least expects it, which is right out in the open. Now I want to definitely get this on camera because red is going to get a really good Nodachi charge right into a loansword Ashigaru. I want to make sure I get that, so I'm going to be hovering the camera around here. Blue is looking to get around and completely surround red. I mean, that's what you do if you have a melee spam army. You just gotta surround him and beat him up. And red almost gets a charge into blue's general, but the Naginata monks are going to capitalize and make sure he doesn't get to the general. Really bold, aggressive action. Didn't quite work, but I really like the idea. So here we go. Red is going to now countercharge once blue is right where he wants him. His elite katanas are going to take the center, and then the Nodachis are going to come down here and smash into these loanswords. Let's watch this charge here. Nice work. Look at those numbers drop. 31 men killed in that charge. Nice one there by the Nodachis. Now, he didn't use Bonsai. If he had Bonsai, he could have probably like annihilated that unit. But anyway, still a good charge. Katana Samurai are going to fill in. And blue's not going to space himself out very well. Whenever you have a numbers advantage, you want to space your army out so you can surround them. But they're all going to get bunched up right in the middle. That's going to allow one Katana Samurai to just hold all these guys down while he gets hammer and anvil by a Yari cavalry, and his general's going to Bonsai come in too. But the biggest problem here for blue is that his general's right there in the middle of the mass, and he's down to 7 men. It will probably be routing shortly. Now, blue does have the shrine, but even with the shrine, if your general's dead, you could still have a chance of routing prematurely. Yeah, he definitely should have kept his general alive here. He has the infantry advantage. He can grind out the melee battle. Should have been more careful with his general. But again, the Nodachi's not quite so good in stand to fight. These are rank 8 Nodachi Samurais. They're still kind of almost losing to loanswords. They have 31 men left in the unit. The loanswords have 22, and they're both wavering. He's going to save this unit by using Bonsai shortly. But they are eventually going to get beaten by their reinforcements. So the loanswords have routed, but here comes some sword attendants to back them up. But the rank 9 Katana Samurai are also coming to back it. The Nodachis up, so that'll be a nice little grind out there. But blue's general is now gone. Looks like he routed. Maybe he was killed, not quite sure. But the whole center is just going to collapse here for blue. And again, forgetting about his cavalry way back here. You gotta remember your cavalry. It could have definitely turned this battle if he had this cavalry, even if they chased off the bow cavalry, because this whole time the bow cavalry has been sitting right here just pouring into blue. I probably would have tried to maneuver him around to get a little more clear shot, but they're still going to get some great volleys off, as we'll be able to see. Look, see, all those arrows are still making it through the forest, so still working. Red is going to just kind of be cleaning up the center here. A Yari Samurai is going to try and hold off all these attendants, which, look, Yari Samurai can make great tanks. Even if they're weakness to swords, they'll probably be able to beat these sword attendants at least. So just tanking over there. I'm going to try and hold out in the middle as long as possible because blue's cavalry is coming. And without any Yaris here in the middle that aren't preoccupied at least, see this one's going up there, it's going to be a tough battle against these Naginata monk cavalry. But luckily it's an uphill charge, just slightly though, so they're not going to get a terribly good charge into this infantry, but it is going to be enough to do some decent damage. And against swords, cavalry can definitely beat swords. We see some shattering there, wavering on this Katana Samurai, but his elite Katana is going to come in from the side and try and clean up the what's left of the cavalry there. Still being chased by these attendants, but not a huge deal. The cavalry is still shooting. The Yaris are wavering. It's actually looking really close right now. Red's general is also gone, by the way, but they're doing really good damage to the cavalry. This one's down to 4 men, 3, there they go, they routed. This one's still at 25, but we have wavering all over. Now he's bringing his bow cavalry into melee and just getting a downhill charge right into these sword attendants. A good risky move. Might not have been the best choice. Maybe it would have been better to try and hold him off and shoot at range, but things are getting desperate here, so it's still a good move. The cavalry charge is going to make a bunch of people waver, and that's where the replay is going to end. Not sure if, excuse me, not sure if blue pulled the plug or what, but that's the end of the replay. So a good battle there. Serious infantry disadvantage, but very good micro there by red. That's the kind of micro you want. Dedicate as few forces as possible to holding down as much of the enemy as possible, because the guy with the most reserves is going to be the most flexible and able to move their army around. Even with a ton of units like blue had, he couldn't be flexible because his units kept getting tied down by like 1 or 2 of red's, holding down entire chunks of his army. So pretty bad micro there by blue. Really great micro by red. Great bow cavalry usage. That's how you want to do it. This is an age where melee spam is very popular. It's definitely not broken, as you can see in this battle, but you got to be aware of it. And bow cavalry is really good against infantry spam. You can just kind of have your way with them, and they have no real way to respond. They're a good unit. You should try them out if you haven't. Thanks for watching, everybody.